What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me for this reaction. Today is Bleach versus Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, I did not watch Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. I did see the Toonami promos back then. It looked cool. I just never watched it. When Bleach first premiered, I saw like the first 30 seconds, maybe the first minute, and then afterwards I decided to see what else was on TV. So, with that said, I think Ichigo, I think that's how you say his name, Bleach is going to win. I know it involves the Soul Reaper Society. Something like that. But whatever the case is, I'm excited to see what we're in for. Let's go! Fight! Death battle!
Ichigo Kurosaki versus Yusuke Urameshi.
The substitute Shinigami of Bleach versus the spirit detective of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh,
He's
man.
Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
What's up, y'all?
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Death battle!
Tell me, Boomstick, what happens when we die?
Endless nothingness? Jeez,
Wow.
man, I don't know. We just started.
Our souls are ferried by Shinigami, gods of death, in an eternal cycle of death and rebirth.
That was my second guess.
And when a soul goes astray, warped by evil and regret, it's a Shinigami's job to purify such violent hollows and send them off to
Wow.
the realm of the dead, the Soul Society.
Works
It is Soul
great
Society.
till it doesn't. Enter Ichigo Kurosaki, whose tragic anime backstory came way too early when his mom was killed by a hollow. Reason number one why you should never want your kid to be the anime protagonist.
Left with his grief, young Ichigo was crushed under the weight of survivor's guilt.
So he lashed
man,
out the
that's
only way
deep.
he knew how, beating people up.
But this wound began to heal when he found his calling, upon meeting a Shinigami named Rukia. To stop a powerful hollow, she gave Ichigo her powers, rousing unseen potential within.
Boom! Just like that, Ichigo's a Shinigami.
Substitute Shinigami. To carry out his duties, Ichigo sheds his body for an invisible one made of spiritual matter called Reishi. He can wield vast amounts of spiritual energy, called Ryoku, and exert it offensively in the form of spiritual pressure, or Reiatsu.
Okay, that's a lot
Wow.
of big words, but all
There's
it
a lot
really
going on
means is
with
he's a super-powered ghost with an epic sword. His spirit aura is so strong, it can stun lock foes, crushing them under his own power, even fatally.
He controls spirit
Man.
matter in and around him, hardening his skin for defense and leaping off of invisible footholds in the air. Paired with speed-boosting skills like Shunpo, he can
Oh,
virtually
that was
fly.
cool.
Say goodbye to the kid who beat up bullies for their lunch money. And hello to the town's new superhero with fellow Ghostbusters, Orihime, Chad, and Uryu. Plus
Chad?
Rukia. It was the Shinigami's
His
job
name's
to tear
Chad.
hollows a new hole.
While balancing
man.
responsibilities at school, of course. GPA comes first, and maybe a round or two of tech.
Ooh.
But it
Combo.
wouldn't be possible without his Shinigami blade, a Zanpakuto. It's basically a superpowered spirit that's physically a sword. Ghost sword.
Though strangely, Ichigo's sword is composed of two distinct spirits, both named Zangetsu, which isn't confusing at all.
Just
Alright.
call him Old Man Zangetsu and Hollow Zangetsu. Anyway, the double ghost sword gives Ichigo lots of new moves, including his trademark attack, the sword beam to end all sword beams. Getsuga Tensho!
It's a sword
Getsuga
beam?
Tensho is incredibly powerful, and so effective that Ichigo developed multiple variants.
Ooh.
He can fire it as a wave, detonate it mid-attack to act as a barrier, and combine two at once into the even stronger Getsuga Jujisho.
To cut even the biggest hollows down to size, Ichigo was ridiculously strong.
So he
even
fights
from
like
frame
Godzilla.
one.
He can make giant shockwaves and parries
Like
spiritual
huge
light beams
kaiju.
from a Menos Grande. And these aren't fake, slower-than-light lasers. Guidebooks confirm they're real light, and the novels say so too.
Plus, early on, Uryu moved so fast that he left his own shadow behind.
But as Ichigo
What?
became more involved with the Soul Society, he quickly found that he wasn't good enough.
This Byakuya guy's so fast, Ichigo can't even see him. Time for a good old-fashioned training arc. Hit the music!
Until
You gotta
now,
have a training
Zangetsu had
arc.
operated only in its base state, Shikai. So Ichigo learned to release its inner power, a 10 times boost that takes most Shinigami a decade to master.
Oh.
Bankai! In Bankai, his
Bankai.
speed skyrocketed, letting him turn the tables on douchebag Byakuya. Even in Shikai, he blocked an attack that could destroy the whole frickin' Soul Society.
Because Ichigo's greatest gift is his potential to improve. Despite only being a teenager, he mastered swordsmanship well enough to thrash experts who had been training for centuries. He can quickly adapt to new weapons and styles mid-fight, surpassing his limits time and time again.
Like when he took on Catboy Grimjow.
Awesome.
He was getting clamped, but as soon as he heard Orihime cheering him on, that was all he needed to smash that kitty.
You mean Grimjow, right?
Yeah,
What the world?
but even with that main character energy, Ichigo couldn't match Big Bad Aizen. With just a finger, Aizen stopped Ichigo's Bankai and his theme song. Rude!
Ichigo needed to
man.
tap into his unexplained hollow power. Except Hollow Zangetsu wasn't going to make it easy.
Old man Zang's pretty chill, but this guy's a menace.
Still, Ichigo needed his help and conjured a hollow mask to expand his power. But this meant the hollow within only grew stronger.
Masked up, he can fire lasers, bypass super senses, and heal lost limbs. But piss him off enough,
Sounds like a
and he'll
monster.
go full hollow. And you really don't want that.
He's got the force.
Hollowification exceeds even Bankai, and was enough to crush Ukiura in a battle that shook all of Hueco Mundo, the world of hollows.
Full hollow Ichigo could even tear through all 3 layers of hell.
But with help from his secret
What?
Shinigami father, Ichigo
What is
continued
going
to
on?
train for months in the Bankai, a corridor between dimensions, until he was finally ready to challenge Aizen.
Challenge is an understatement. He manhandled Aizen, shattered mountains with sheer aura.
I remember
and
Aizen.
flexed so hard he smashed out of the black coffin, which crushes space like a mini black hole.
And
Yeah,
yet,
I remember
it
this.
still
Okay.
wasn't enough. So by becoming Getsuga
Aizen.
itself, Ichigo unleashed his ultimate attack, Mugetsu, defeating Aizen at the cost of all his power.
He might have saved everyone, but now it was back to Normieville.
Ichigo never truly realized until then just how much being a Shinigami meant to him. The power to protect others, his drive, his pride in himself was gone. He would give anything to get it back.
And he did, thanks to a surprise assist from Rukia. Boom! Shinigami again!
Just in time for a 1,000-year blood war with the final endgame boss, Yuhabak.
Who planned to end
Isn't that on
everything.
Tsunami right now?
And while other Shinigami tried their best,
Some kind of
only
1,000-year
Ichigo
war?
was special enough to pull it off.
His father was a Shinigami. His mother was a member of the ancient Quincy's and possessed by a hollow. Hence, his 2 Zanbakuto spirits, one Quincy, the other hollow and Shinigami, made Ichigo a perfect union to break Yuhabak's plan. Finally, Ichigo understood himself, fully unifying with both Zanbakuto spirits within. With that came a new Shikai and 2 new Zanbakuto.
True Shikai! If you thought Ichigo was strong before, oh boy, he's the strongest Shinigami alive. They're dead.
It says
Undead. Yeah.
Stronger than
ending
Kenpachi,
power.
who could split the Dangai in half. Stronger than Senjumaru, who shook heaven and earth across the realms. And strong enough to match Yuhabak, even after he absorbed the Soul King.
Juiced up with Soul King power, Yuhabak could nuke all 3 realms. The human world, Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo, plus the Dangai and Garganta in between, which have a bunch of pocket dimensions sprinkled in. Hell, just the Soul King's corpse sent a shockwave across all the realms.
And
The
it's not a
corpse?
matter of disrupting the flow of souls. Yuhabak was going to end everything through sheer power alone.
But Ichigo still wasn't done powering up.
Entering a new half-hollow form and merging his Getsuga Tencho with a
what?
mighty hollow attack, the
world
Grand
is
Ray
that?
Sero.
Making a giant crescent slash that rips through space itself.
All that
Of course.
power culminating in his true Bankai. A power so great, even Yuhabak was scared of it.
Joke's on you! Ichigo didn't even need it! You're done!
Ichigo was finally
Man.
content. And 10 years later, he remains a Shinigami, having found the courage to stand on the edge of life and death, conquer his fears, and walk onward.
Okay. All I could hear,
Most
all I
teenagers
heard was
have
he's
no
gonna
idea
win.
what they want to do with their life. However, that was hardly a problem for juvenile delinquent Yusuke Urameshi, because he only ever wanted to do one thing.
Throw hands! It doesn't matter who the
Really?
ops are, be they women, old folk, or babies, Yusuke lived to fight. It's what gave life meaning.
Oh.
Who cares about stupid things like friends and family?
Which is why it was so surprising when one day he threw himself in front of a speeding car to save a child, bringing that reckless life to a
That was the
screeching halt.
promo.
Truck-kun claims another victim.
But this is chapter 1 of a battle shonen, so death is hardly the end.
Surprisingly, though, it wasn't
He
a
was gonna
spooky
punch the
skeleton in a
paramedic.
hood who arrived to claim Yusuke's soul. It was a blue-haired anime girl on a broomstick.
This was Botan, whose job was to ferry Yusuke's newly deceased spirit off to the afterlife.
Unfortunately,
I thought that was
or
Harry
I
Potter
guess
for a second.
fortunately for him, he was such an asshole that the underworld didn't see his selfless death coming and didn't have any space prepared for him. Imagine being such a menace to society that the second you do something nice, hell itself gets caught with his pants down.
So the underworld
Wow.
surrogate king, Koenma, offered Yusuke an alternative. He could return to life as an agent of the afterlife, a spirit detective, solving supernatural crimes and fighting off demonic threats to humanity.
Naturally, Yusuke did what anyone would do in that situation, then told Satan Jr. to stuff it. I mean, he was never really good for anything and no one was gonna miss him, so what's the point of coming back to life? It's not like his mom would be sad, or his childhood sweetheart Keiko would be heartbroken, or even his rival
he left his
Kuwabara
girlfriend?
would shed manly tears. Oh man.
At the sight of loved ones who cared far more than he ever expected, Yusuke had a change of heart and accepted Koenma's offer, returning to life with a new purpose and a new job.
And newfound ass-kicking ability. In his quest to beat the dog shit out of demonkind, Yusuke learned to harness Reiki, or spirit energy. He's ridiculously strong, fast, and durable, heals from wounds quickly, and can see spirits invisible to mortal men.
Even early on, Yusuke could parry Suzaku's lightning arrows, which are formed from real lightning called down from the sky. And with the help of legendary warrior Bankai, he mastered a signature move that could blast anyone to smithereens.
My favorite shonen
Oh.
move ever, the
Oh.
Spirit Gun. At first, Yusuke had a limited number of shots, but eventually he turned it into his personal WMD. Stronger than any weapon on Earth, he could go finger blasting around as much as he wants.
The spirit
This
gun
might be
is
a
more
problem.
versatile than it appears. Yusuke can bounce it off surfaces for sneak attacks, propel himself around like a rocket in flight, and produce massive explosions
Okay.
with each shot.
Alright.
He can twist it up for a spirit shotgun, a mighty AoE blast, or a spirit punch, where he keeps the energy stored in his fists and clobbers the hell out of you. And the
is a
spirit
lot.
wave, a Kamehameha from before we uncultured Americans knew what a Kamehameha was.
Yusuke may be a punk, but
got
he's
a
deceptively
Kamehameha.
skilled and cunning in battle.
He's not afraid to fight dirty, throwing his shoes, using sleight of hand to place cigarettes
What?
on his foe to track them in the dark.
Personally, I call that smart. And his hand-to-hand is A+.
smart.
He's matched experts like Cabano, who's said to have mastered all forms of martial combat.
But his best secret is how quickly he improves. All it takes is a round of training or someone threatening his
Ooh.
friends, and Yusuke's power will spike to match stronger enemies. Even if it means literally burning through his own life force for a power-up.
All known demons and demon fighters are individually ranked on a scale of power from E to S.
E and D class demons are nothing special. We're talking local threats at best. C and B are getting a bit dicey in a destroy your city kind of way. A and S? Well, hold on to your ass. We're talking end of the world.
As Yusuke forged bonds with new allies, like demons Hiei and Kurama, as well as his old pal Kuwabara, he found himself facing opponents he couldn't beat, such as the monstrous Toguro, who could vaporize weaker demons and crush their souls with sheer aura.
But Yusuke needed to survive
He
and
looks like
protect
the-
his
the
loved
Terminator.
ones. So he had no choice but to rank up, even if it meant absorbing the power of a small star. Thanks, Genkai!
Our sun has an average luminosity of 380 septillion watts, or joules
There's
per
the
second.
numbers.
Small stars like red dwarfs output about 1/10,000th of that. So this spirit orb's energy per second would equal about 9 million megatons of TNT.
Enough to send
Whoa.
Toguro to the grave.
Even after pushing past his own limits, Yusuke would still need more power to face S-class threats like Sensui, a past spirit detective gone bad, and a great measuring stick for what top-tier demons are capable of.
Sensui was so yoked he couldn't even use all his power in the human world without threatening to bring down the whole thing. He compared destroying the whole goddamn planet to kicking an anthill.
According to Genkai, Yusuke
Oh,
could destroy
wow,
the
that
planet
comparison
too,
is crazy.
if he really wanted. And even A-class threats like King Enma have shaken both the demon and human worlds.
That anima guy is strong as balls. In the past, he fought the Netherworld King Yakumo, who could eradicate the entire human world and remake the Netherworld.
But Yusuke's power surpassed both of them to the point where he overloaded Yakumo with his own energy. And do keep in mind, Yusuke was still only A-class at the time, a far cry from S-classes like Sensui, whose sacred energy was 10 times his superior.
But not for long, sucker!
Yeah.
As turns out, Yusuke was a demon himself.
Literally. Yusuke is the descendant of an ancient and incredibly powerful being, one of the strongest in existence, Raizen, the Demon King.
With his Mazoku mark, Yusuke can channel Raizen's spirit for a huge
that was
power
him?
boost. and a massive thirst for murder boost. This was his first taste of a dangerous new type of spirit energy, Yoki.
A form of energy used by demons. Like normal Reiki, it can be amplified by intense emotions. Unlike normal Reiki, its use creates a pleasurable feeling, feeding into the user's rage and bloodlust, the feral animal within.
So Yusuke upgraded his spirit gun to a demon gun. It's the same thing, but red. Oh, and it's strong enough to blast sensory past the horizon, putting Yusuke's power firmly in S-Class.
And making him a prime candidate to rule the demon world. But as he was thrust into a tournament vying for that throne, Yusuke began to wonder if all this power was what he really wanted.
Self-reflection? From I'll kick your ass, Yusuke Urameshi? Nah, we can worry about that later. There's a tournament to win. Which one of you, girl, baby, or grandparents is first?
Even then, as Yusuke took on the Demon King Yomi in an epic final battle, he was still growing. He had become far stronger than before, even achieving a unique version of the Mazoku form separate from Raisen's influence.
And a brand spanking new form of power. Kinda like Sensui's secret energy, but even better. It's so unprecedented, it doesn't even have a name, but it's golden glowy.
Strong enough to clash with Yomi, creating an explosion
like
that split the heavens above and decimated the Okunin tree below, pushing the Demon King himself to his absolute limits.
But then, Yusuke lost. It's not all bad though. Even if being king would have been cool, Yusuke realized he wanted something more. He'd grown up and chose to walk a new path.
It was always Yusuke's connections with others that motivated him above all else. And it was in those connections that he found his happy ending.
But I wouldn't piss him off if you can avoid it. Get him in the right mood or threaten the human world, and the spirit detective will beat your stupid ass.
Why? He's a lot stronger than I
Long
thought.
has its return been foretold, but now, finally, it is reborn.
The original Death Battle shirt that once dominated the world. Hell yeah, there's no better way to wear a blood spatter on your...
Death Battle!
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through
Ichigo
all possibilities.
I think he's still gonna win.
It's time for a Death
Battle! Yeah! Alright, now here we go, here we go.
That's a demon.
That's hollow.
No doubt about it.
Here we go. Oh, the music. Dude. Hey. Oh, we're even. Ooh. Man, he is throwing some hands. Oh. It reflected. Oh, man. Why? Oh. What's that? Outside help? Oh, never mind. Dude.
Chump change.
He's going.
What a baby! Little demon energy got you scared?
Nah.
They're playing this music. Alright, alright. Dude.
Getsuga! Yujisho! Two at once? Damn, why didn't I think of that?
Oh.
Give in to me, Yusuke. Let's devour him together.
Hell no!
Transforming.
This is my fight, jackass! You just
Never mind.
won't be back!
He did transform. Oh, oh. Ooh. Dude, oh, the disrespect. I guess that's all three
Rude
layers.
awakening. This one's a piece of work. Need a hand, partner?
Let's do it. Like old times.
On!
Where are we now? Where in the world? Oh, the animation. His horns is fire. Dude.
Is that the best you can do? I can go even faster if you'd like. Hell Hell yeah! Bring it on, asshole!
You're enjoying this.
I'll kill you even if it kills me! I'm putting it all on the line!
Oh, he's bringing the sword! Oh, what is this?
Screw that!
Where's your mask? Oh, whoa! This is epic! He didn't slice him!
Break. See you on the other side.
It's over. It's over.
You,
Man, that was
think
close,
the
though.
afterlife offers frequent flyer miles?
There's a lot to cover here, so let's break this down into 4 chapters, starting with their abilities.
Yusuke could see Ichigo no problem, and resist auras like Togoro's that are similar to Reiatsu, so Ichigo couldn't cheese a win right away.
Otherwise, Yusuke was outmatched. Sure, the Spirit Gun could potentially match the Getsuga Tensho, and he had stat-boosting forms like the Mazoku. Ichigo, however, had more varied powers, a better healing factor, greater stamina given his months of Bankai training.
And all those swords,
right.
he just had way more abilities to play with.
Likewise, speed was a fairly easy call. Yusuke could react to lightning early on, and obviously got much faster over time. Looking at this blast from his clash with Yomi, it erupted upwards at
What?
57% the speed of light.
But Ichigo was faster than
Dude.
light from the start, and he's gotten faster too. He couldn't even see
I
Byakuya at
knew.
first, but blitzed him in the rematch. Plus, he's got
I had no
tons
doubts
of
about his
training and
speed.
power-ups since then.
The Soul King Shockwave, for example, expanded across the realms at thousands of times light speed, and Ichigo reacted to attacks from Soul King Yuhabak that utilized the
Thousands.
same power. So, Ichigo takes speed. But Yusuke's fought plenty of foes faster and more varied than him, so it's extremely important to examine their tactics and ability to adapt mid-fight.
This is
He must
kind
have better
of both
tactics.
their things. Ichigo has styled on guys with centuries of training and has over a decade of experience as a Shinigami. He's pretty good at figuring out new weapons and styles.
Meanwhile, Yusuke was flexible and quick to adapt, mixing cleverness with exceptional hand-to-hand. He's good enough to match Kabana, who
Shoryuken.
mastered every martial art. Ichigo's decent at hand-to-hand, but it's not his go-to in the same way.
So both
I
had their
saw that
strong
in the
suits,
fight.
with advantages on each side. It's fair to call this one a draw.
Leaving only the
Oh.
biggest winning
I
factor,
didn't think it would
which
be a
could
draw.
have superseded all other advantages: power.
Between Sensui, Genkai, and Enma, Yusuke could definitely destroy the planet. Examining his sky-splitting clash with Yomi and measuring its scale, that's about 4 quadrillion megatons of TNT, which is
What?
crazy.
Zeta
Similarly,
tons.
mid-series Ichigo could shake Huecomundo, tear through hell, and block attacks that could destroy the Soul Society. But at his peak, he beat Yuhabak, who could destroy several realms, which is far more impressive than just one.
To be fair, Yusuke also beat Yakumo, who could threaten
That's a
2
lot.
realms at the same time, pretty close to Yuhabak's threatening 3.
And Yusuke far surpassed Yakumo afterward. The gap between him and Sensui alone was 10 times. So there could be an argument for Yusuke's power surpassing Ichigo if 3 realms was truly Ichigo's limit.
Fortunately for Ichigo, it's not. Yuhabak was also gonna destroy the Garganta, which has at least 29 pocket dimensions inside it.
Each containing
That's
at
a
least
lot of
planet and
dimensions.
star, much larger than Yusuke's planet-sized worlds. Plus, Ichigo matched Yuhabak in True Shikai, without his additional boost from Half Hollow and True Bankai.
As always with Death Battle, there's arguments either way. But the way we see it, even being generous with Yusuke's power and conservative with Ichigo's, the gap was just too big, giving Ichigo the final edge. Sorry
Man,
if
that's almost
things
a
got
complete
messy,
domination.
but that's just how Ichi goes.
The winner is Ichigo Kurosaki.
Next time
Alright,
on
that was a
Death
good
Battle.
death battle. What is this? Oh, Metal Sonic! Metal Sonic and Cell!
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. Alright, that was a good death battle. One thing I don't really talk about is the animation. Watching these past death battles, and especially this one, I noticed that the animators are just amazing, and regardless of who the winner is of these death battle matches, I'm loving the animation. So, what'd you think about this death battle? Did who you want to win actually win? Leave your comments, like, share, subscribe. Take it easy.